Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, now I've been talking a lot about the word, and more specifically, I've been talking about the noun from the words. And we had three types, if you remember from lesson one: the verb, which is fi'l, the noun, which is ism, and then the particle, which is the harf. But so we've been focusing on the nouns because I want you to recognize the nouns, at the outset. Now, I want to talk a little bit about and allow us to unpack so that we're able to now, with two nouns coming together. So if, at the moment it's one word, you're looking one word by word, but now we're getting into two words. And if you come across two words, again, it doesn't change much. You still have to recognize what each of the word is, the type of the word, and then it allows you to unpack it in various ways. So what I'm going to look at, again, my focus is now two nouns. So it's compounds that I want to get into and introduce the subject. Because, no statements or no sentence comes as one word. It's generally there are multiple words in a sentence, and we have to understand and learn the methodical method or the methodical way of how this is how to unpack or understand and translate or understand or follow the translation and then remember it. So compounds. So compounds are of two types. Okay, so let's go through that and show that here. So they're either complete compounds. What I mean by that is there's, let's say, at least two words. They're coming together and they form a sentence. When you have a compound that form a sentence, then you are referring to a complete compound. So in English, for example, you can use, you can say, you are a brother. Now, if you think about that, that in English has more than two words here. The way Arabic works is this R is implied in the sentence because of the very nature of the fact that it's coming in that compound is understood to be a sentence because of the elements that make it a complete compound, such as a subject or a predicate. So for instance, a complete compound will require a subject and a predicate. Okay, at the very least, where this is in the basic construction. So, that's exactly what's happening in the sentence above. In the Arabic, this can be done in two words. So you would say, Anta akhiyun. Or Anta akhun. I'm just going to say that. You are a brother. Anta akhun. So now that's two words, which you are a brother. Anta akhun. That's how it's translated. Now, the R that I was mentioning here and are implied. So to take, this is the is implied through the indefinite noun, which you see in akhun. And how do we know that it's indefinite? Is through the tanween. And the R is implied through sentence construction, which is that it has a subject and a predicate. And I will explain that in Arabic to you later. Of course, this is what we're going to explore, inshallah, how we got that. How do we know that when the two nouns are coming together, they're making subject-predicate construction or any other construction? So at this point, The whole focus is to understand there's two types. When two nouns come together, they can be a complete compound, meaning they form a sentence, or the other example, I'm sure you would have guessed it, is going to be incomplete. It could be an incomplete compound. And what is an example of that? So for that one, you can see we can have, all right, one would be adjectives. Adjectives are incomplete. They don't tell you the full sentence. In English, we could say beautiful car. Okay, well, that's it. You just gave me the adjective or some attribute about the car, but no one will classify that as a complete sentence. In Arabic, we can use the example in the Quran, for instance, al-fawzul kabir. The Quran uses that. Great success. The great success. Okay, this means great. Definite and the success. So the great success referring to those who attain forgiveness in Jannah in the Akhirah. Another example of the incomplete. So this is one. The second one, the incomplete, would be a possessive case of possessive phrase. And I will explain what I mean by that. So for instance, we say Kitabullahi. Kitabullahi, which means the book of Allah. Book of Allah. Okay, that's a possessive. It's signifying a possession. So book of Allah, that's again an incomplete compound. Let's take the third example. Comes in numbers. So example of that from the Quran would be أحد عشر كوكبا. This is in the dream of Yusuf alayhi salam when he saw that and he was explaining that to his father, and you can go to Surah Yusuf to read more about that. It's in the early ayat of that surah. So أحد عشر كوكبا, 11 stars. كوكبا here is stars, and أحد عشر signifies 11. So whether kawkab is singular or plural, that's something discussion that you can cover and check the dictionary. I'll leave that as homework for you. But you would have to get there in order for you to understand that. So for the time being, it's coming in the singular form, kawkab. Okay, so it's plural. You will learn through dictionary, inshallah. Now that's 11, and how that whole the numbers are a bit of a complex area. It's called the number, and then what is being counted, right? So what is enumerated. So here the number is going to be one thing, and then what's being counted may come singular or in plural form or as accusative or as genitive. This is another area which we'll do a focus lesson on, but it'll be much later. Okay, so inshallah, this is it. So compounds are of two types. Just to summarize, they're complete and incomplete. Incomplete have the following forms that I've listed here. The point of all of this is what? That now we're moving from one-word discussion to two-word discussion. And now we need to recognize that when two words come together, they will have some relationship to each other. And that relationship will mean something. It will allow us to understand the construction in a particular way. It will give a certain meaning. And we have to understand what the differences are and how would we recognize whether it's a complete compound or an incomplete compound. Inshallah, more lessons to come on that. I just wanted to introduce the subject. We will go from here and talk in detail about each of these, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.